All right, then take a look at this. In one of the most significant reforms since the GST was introduced, slabs have been reduced to two. 5% and 18%. Consumers will now be able to buy electronic goods at a cheaper rate, with the government announcing sharp cuts in goods and services tax rates on major electronic items under the new reforms. And small petrol hybrid cars are also on the list, with GST potentially dropping from 28% to 18%. This is a long-awaited win for the manufacturers like Toyota Motor, Maruti Suzuki, who have been lobbying for years to reduce taxes on technology that they argue is cleaner than conventional petrol. GST on 33 life-saving drugs has been slashed to 0 from 12%. Another 3 critical drugs, including those used in cancer and rare disease treatment, will now also be taxed at nil instead of 5%. Experts say the step will make essential therapies far more affordable. And in the bigger picture, the government has also reduced GST on all other medicines from 12% to 5%, directly easing the treatment burden. The pharma industry has welcomed this move, calling it a step towards affordable healthcare for all. And the government also changing the tax slabs in the budget. It now has reduced the GST rates and plans to implement the 8th pay commission next year. The attempt has been to put more money in the hands of the consumers and to boost demand domestically. Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, the founder and chairman at Hiranandani Group, joins us here on the broadcast. A very warm welcome to you. Doctor, many thanks for taking out the time. What went through your mind when you read, went through the press conference late last night, and when you've been reading the headlines today in the morning? People are now talking about GST becoming more stable, more predictable. But does that essentially mean more pocket expenditure for the common man? If you could subcategorize, the social stratas into various categories, which one gets impacted the most? The opposition is now saying, what about revenue protection and what about other states? Of course, these are opposition-ruled states. But keeping the politics aside, your opening comments here, sir, and Doctor, do help the viewers understand in layman terminology what ICT and, input tax and output tax, all of that away, what will be the actual benefit transfer to the common man? Over to you, Doctor.
The Prime Minister said on Independence Day that he's going to give a gift to the nation before Diwali. And I think he has done it effectively. The point is very clear. We needed to put more money in the hands of the pockets of the people, and I think the reduction in GST has certainly done it. Rates across the board from 28% to 18, 18 to 5, and in some cases to 0 in the case of drugs and other things. On the other hand, he has increased one rate of 40%, which is there for gutka and those other items. So I think the first point is well taken, that actually it is going to be beneficial to the poor, and there will be more money coming into the people's hands, which will be there for the purposes of the growth of the nation. Number two, we have to understand that inflation is already under control. So to that extent, the prices are being protected. So in reality, people will get the common goods, foods and eatables and other things at a lower prices, including medicines and other things. So this is on one side, I think, a very positive story in terms of it. The growth in India has already moved from 6.2% to 7.2%. In the last 1 week, we have heard the rates have come up to 7.2%, mentioned by the Prime Minister in his last lecture. My view, if this GST thing becomes operational and effective, you are going to see an 8% GDP growth because of the internal boost of consumption in the first quarter of 2026. Write it down and call me up to speak on it when it happens.
All right.
Because this is my reading that it is really going to take place, and this is a boost to the economy, which is really going to do on one hand and help the people on the second. The third part of it, which is more important for me because I'm in the real estate business also. So that is something which we really need to see. Cement and steel, tiles and other things were at 28% GST. Now, with the boost and reduction, the reduction of rates from 28 to 18%, it means that cement, steel, bricks, tiles and other items will come down in prices. And what has happened in the last 1.5 years, you have not reported, but let me tell you, affordable housing has seen a downturn of almost 20% in volumes. The first time in my career of 40 years. I think this is going to help to bring that back, because the costing in affordable housing was becoming unaffordable, and interest rates which had gone up now hopefully coming down faster because inflation is also under control.
Right.
RBI has already reduced it by a percentage. I am hoping that in the next 2 months, because inflation is under control and all the other aspects are under control, they will reduce by another 1%. So EMIs will come down by 10 to 15%. So even housing demand is going to come up, which is effectively touching 260 industries, from cement to steel to other things. So a boost to the economy, and ultimately, remember, if we are going to fight with the rest of the world, we have to be the fastest. And if
Yep.
Prime Minister wants to be Atmanirbhar in 5 years, let's work it out so it happens in 4 years. So I think all this put together is not a revision in terms of GST, but I think it's a revolution in the mindset of the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister. They are thinking lower rates of GST will call bigger business, and ultimately the collection, in fact, in another 6 months may go up simply because demand will go up. So I think a combination of events, which is not only a gift to the people, but it is a strategic economic move. And I'm praying to God that it works super bonus as I feel it is, both for the people and for the government and for the economy in that whole. So I think there is a revolutionary move which the finance minister has designed and approved by the prime minister. I think we are going to see different days in terms of the growth and improvement in the business, economics, and
Real
well-being
pertinent
of
points that
people.
you've raised over here, Dr. Hiranandani. You're saying that this, in fact, is a Diwali bonanza way ahead of Diwali. You're saying affordable housing is again going to be on the horizon, and the larger overreaching impact of these new GST slabs. Let me just put across to you two concerns that have been doing the rounds here on the news floor, and of course the headlines are also talking about it. The 48,000 crore rupee revenue, impact and loss. Is that going to be able to offset in the long run? Will we be able to offset that, given that consumption is going to see an uptake from what you're telling us? And of course, the other aspect of the terrifying times that we live in, what happened at the SCO and Donald Trump. I'm sure you're also following that. After SCO and your own projection of 8% GDP growth come Q1 financial year 2026, are we in the driving seat? Can one say that?
Too many questions, but let me try to figure out the
My
answer
apologies,
for this.
Doctor.
First and foremost, let's understand one thing. We have to have a long-term vision and short-term goals. The long-term vision is growth for the country, improving the economic and removing the poorest of poor from the poverty levels to bring it to the next level. We have seen that happen in the last 5 years. According to me, with inflation under control and hopefully employment and booster that he has given, will bring more employment. That's the bottom of the line. Because you can't have GDP growth with unemployment. So what is being tried on is to see that the GST changes will give a boost in demand, which will also boost employment. Construction and real estate and infrastructure is the second largest employer in India after agriculture. If we can boost it, two things will happen: wealth of the country and also inclusiveness. You can't have wealth in the country happening and poverty levels not improving. What is the Prime Minister and Finance Minister trying to do? They're saying GDP will grow, but now I want to also see that employment and multiplier effect, which is necessary at the lower level, happens, and give more money to the people at the grassroots level. This is being tried on. My view is it's a very, very important thing. Your question is, will it be very successful? My view is it is going to be successful. Now, the question is, I am very bullish. I think it will be successful in 3 months. Some people are saying 6 months. Somebody is saying 9 months. I'm bullish. So I think it will be done in 3 months. By next March, I'll give you a second prediction.
All
That
right.
the collection, in spite of the GST rates coming down, the collection today, the same collection will come up in March of next year. So in spite of reduction in the rates, you will see, because of the booster in the economy, you will get the same amount of collection. So the fear that we have is there, of course, that the intermittent collection is going to come down. And and which will bound to happen. When you reduce the rates, the first collection is going to come down. There is no two. But the second effect is when more goods are sold, more cars are sold, more bikes are sold, more
Right.
houses are sold, more this is sold, more people buy food and other things, then automatically the secondary effect of the market comes up. That's why I'm saying, and my bullishness says 3 months. Somebody said, my friend whom I talked to said, Niranjan, you're too optimistic. I think it'll be 6 months. I said, okay, let's bargain and say half the between the two. So there's a big joke. Now, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or 8 months, it still means that the revision and the idea is very successful. Because if both the things can happen and the demand can grow and people will be pulled out of poverty, there's nothing like it. I think this is there. And what the Prime Minister calls Atmanirbhar Bharat will happen faster than what you can originally thought you there. One more thing, just to put a rider. If you hear last year's GST collections and what is this year's GST collections, the growth has been huge and humongous. I don't remember the exact percentage. So, what is the Prime Minister done? Whatever it is, he's doing the reduction now based on the original estimates of what collection would be. So in reality, he's anyway collecting what he had estimated, even by doing the reduction in prices. And he's giving you a gift because you are today collecting more GST than he had anticipated 1 year ago. So he, out of the additional anticipated, he's temporarily reducing it to cause it a booster to the economy. So this is an injection into the economy. How soon it will be effective? My estimate 3 months. My friends estimate 6 months. I'll ask you, what is your guess?
Well, I think I'm going to second the opinion of meeting the both of you, you and your friend, somewhere halfway, Dr. Hiranandani. But many thanks for joining us here on News9 and helping us understand the booster and the multiplier effect of this injection that the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister have given to the country. Let's wait and find out how soon do we actually reap the dividends and the benefits. Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, founder and chairman at the Hiranandani Group. Many thanks, for joining us here on the broadcast.